Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey, it is me, Believe, and I am back with another video. Okay, so today's video is going to be on ancestral communication. I do feel like this is an important topic due to the fact that it comes up very often in my tarot readings. I get a lot of questions as far as what blockages do I have? Why is my ancestors not communicating with me directly? How can I communicate with my ancestors? Is there a reason why I'm not getting downloads? What messages do my ancestors have for me? And so on and so on and so on. So I was like, let me drop some jewels. Let me drop some knowledge on you guys real quick while I'm getting ready to do my makeup so I can do my little TikTok videos. You feel me? But that's besides the point. A lot of you guys, ancestors, are communicating with you. You are receiving downloads. I do see that a lot in my readings when I am working with people. I see the downloads, I see the messages, I see the way communication is being done by your ancestors. And I strongly feel and believe it's not that you're not hearing the messages, it's that you're doubting the messages. A lot of you guys are definitely spiritual beings. You guys are connected spiritually. You do believe your ancestors do want to communicate with you. They are actively trying to communicate with you. But the only blockages that you guys have is yourself. We have to get out of the habit of feeling and believing that when we're receiving downloads or when our intuition is kicking in, that it's not accurate or it's muddy or we need other people's clarifications. I cannot tell you how many times I have done a spiritual reading and my client goes, I knew this, I felt this, I honestly felt like this was what it was. Or, I kind of understood this, I've been feeling this. They're basically saying, you're giving me the clarification that I needed. And when you're a spiritual being and you're embarking on your spiritual journey and you're communicating with your ancestors and you set up that altar and you're becoming one with them, you have to trust them. You have to trust that little voice inside your head, inside your heart, inside your gut that's steering you in the right direction. You're so quick to fact check that you're missing the message. If you feel some type of way about a situation, it is what it is. You don't have to go looking for the reason why you feel the way you feel because your ancestors are going to reveal it to you. Your spirit guides are going to reveal it to you. You have to learn to trust yourself. We're so quick to want other people's opinion that we muddy the message, especially when you're trying to translate how you feel. For some of us, we're not really good at communicating effectively. So we mess up the message. We're not doing word for word. We kind of like sum it up or we kind of make it less than what it is. So if it's something that's a long story, we try to make it a short story. You feel me? And because you're doing it that way in seeking clarification, you're not getting the full clarity that you need from other people. So learn to trust yourself. Your ancestors are definitely communicating with you. They're definitely speaking to you. And I always say, there's nothing wrong with getting a reading. Of course, support your readers. But you should not have to turn to readers all the time for answers from your ancestors. There should be no middleman when it comes to your ancestors because they're your people. So if you can't hear them, of course other people can if that's their job. But if you can't hear them, then there's something going on with you that's stopping you from hearing them. And a lot of times it's because you're not trusting what you're hearing. Okay? Sometimes those messages from my ancestors don't make sense. I'm not going to sit here and tell you every download I get makes sense. Even when I'm doing my readings and I'm communicating and I'm getting those messages and I'm channeling, sometimes I have to ask my client, like, why am I seeing this? Or why am I feeling that? Or do you know this person? Sometimes I have to ask because sometimes the waters do get muddy, And so I do get my little bit of clarification from my client but that's because I'm not seeing things correctly. It's not that I'm not hearing the message, it's putting the pieces together from the message can sometimes get muddy. So in situations like that, then yes, by all means, seek your clarity. But know the difference, okay? Even if the message don't make sense, absorb it, take it, keep it pushing, keep it moving, all that good stuff. But you guys should definitely work on communicating with your ancestors effectively, because they're always going to be there. They're going to be the clarity that you're going to get in the middle of the night. You can't sleep. Something's on your mind. You know, you go to your altar, and then the first thing that comes into your mind, you know, you're like, oh, what does this mean? Oh, this must not mean anything. I'm just overthinking it. In reality, that's the message. That's what they want you to know, or that's what they're bringing to light. And they want you to dwell on it and manifest it, or they want you to investigate. Okay? Because I've been there. You can't sleep, or sometimes your ancestors will wake you up out your sleep and tell you to go do something. And then when you do it, you're like, why you want me to get on Facebook? Why you want me to go on such and such page? Why do you want me to click on this page? Why do you want me to click on that page? And then boom, before you know it, you're 5-10 clicks in on social media, and there's a message right there for you. Or you're 5 to 10 clicks into social media, and you see your partner flirting on someone's page that you never would have went on if you had it went through A, B, C, D, and E. You know what I'm saying? So trust your ancestors, y'all. Okay? Because one thing I'm gonna tell y'all, and this is something I learned myself. So I don't tell you guys nothing that I have not experienced or went through. Do not use tarot as the main source of information in your life. There are times where you're going to wake up and pull a card just to see how your day is going to go. But every situation that happens in your life should not require tarot. Because when you become dependent on tarot, you're going to start to feed yourself the answers that you want, or you're going to have your reader feeding you the answers that you want. So you want to kind of experience life as it is. Everything does not have to be revealed. You do not have to pull a card on every little thing that goes on in your life. You know, use tarot when you're going through situations, and because your mental is affected, you're not able to see clearly with your third eye or visually. You know, that's when you want to use tarot. But you don't want to be like, oh, should I go to Burger King or should I go to McDonald's? Is this new guy I'm talking to, is he the real deal or is he a fake? Am I going to get paid next week, or is there going to be a problem? Like, you don't want to do that. Let things unfold naturally. Because in getting your answer of a yes or no, you could write off a lesson that's important to you, or you could write off a blessing that's going to happen in that situation. You know, a lot of relationships that I do see in tarot, I do see people connecting with people while they're actively in a relationship with someone else. And I tell them, like, hey, look, there's a soulmate coming in, or there's a person coming in, and it's going to happen while you're actively dating this person, and this person is going to be a great match for you. And then a lot of times what people do is they'll dump that person because they know someone else is coming in, and then they'll hit me up, girl, can you tell me a little bit more about that person, because I'm trying to see an estimate of what time they're coming in. I know you told me last time they're coming in, but I just want to see it. And then I look into it, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a little minute for this person to come in. And they're like, oh, no, why? And it's because you were supposed to meet them while you were with that person. And I know it sounds kind of shady, kind of messed up, but you can have a soulmate that's going to come in next week, and that soulmate is going to come in while you're running errands for the person that you're currently dating now. So you could be dropping off lunch to your person. You go by the gas station, you bump into someone, y'all exchange numbers, or you guys, like, you know, have an exchange or whatever. And then weeks later, you could bump into that person again and they recognize you or they remember you. Meanwhile, you and your person have kind of decided to just be friends, or you decided to take things even slower. So now you're back on the market dating, and you can bump into that person again and say, hey, I remember you from a couple weeks ago at the gas station. And you're like, yeah, I remember you too. It's like, oh, I meant to get your number, but you know, I was in a rush, you know, this, that, and the third, whatever. that could happen. Situations like that do happen. You know, it's not that you're going to cheat on your person with this person, but it could be a situation in which you meet this person while you're in a relationship, and then something happens to your relationship and spirit put this person back in your life. Now, if you was to just dump the person off rip, you could bump into this person out and about in public. Yes, you guys could catch each other's eye, but you might not exchange numbers, or this person might find you physically attractive, or they might, want to talk to you, but they don't because they're insecure, they're unsure, or they could be in a rush doing stuff. People make time for the things that they want, and people also, in situations, if I meet someone and we don't exchange numbers or nothing happens between us other than being cordial, and then months later I run into them again, that's a sign for me that that person and I are meant to have an exchange. And that's going to give me motivation to pursue them. And you could be put in that situation just like that, in which your chance encounter that you had at the gas station didn't go nowhere, but then they bumped into you again, and they're like, God is telling me I need to approach this person. So think of it as that way. Don't think of it as, oh my God, you're going to cheat on your person, because we don't condone cheating over here. We don't condone third party energy. So you guys kind of have to take heed to the readings, and you also have to follow instructions for the readings. So if your ancestors are coming through with a message, you need to take heed to that message. You can't go off and do your own thing. One thing I will tell you about ancestors, they know that we're hard-headed. They know we don't listen. And so when they're trying to get our attention and we don't listen, that's when they're like parents. And they punish you. They put you on punishment, and then this goes wrong and that goes wrong. And it's all about drawing you back in, bringing you back to the center of things, letting you know that because I am here, and the ancestors, because I am here, you have this, that, and the third. And without my presence, you have none of this. Now, not all ancestors are like that. Some ancestors are going to bless you whether you listen or not. But those serious issues or serious problems that you guys are having in life, and your ancestors are trying to direct you or pull you away, there are instances when ancestors can take their hands off of you and allow things to be what it's going to be. And right before something tragic happens, they'll swoop in and save you. But they want you to know, I've told you thousand times again to not do this, and you continue to do this. This is why you have people who go through multiple incarcerations. They get arrested the first time, slap on the wrist. They get arrested the second time, slap on the wrist. They get arrested on the third time, they get a plea deal. Okay, and the plea deal is not that much time. And then they go back in trouble again, and they get the max. And it's because your ancestors have literally saved you 3 times. The third time, they really wasn't trying to help you, but they threw you a bone. Okay? And then the 4th time, you just fall flat on your face because they're tired of it. We're meant to break generational curses if we have one. We're also meant to please our ancestors, okay? There are ancestors who have passed way before you who did not get a chance to live their lives, or they did not get a chance to do this, not get a chance to do that. And so they want you to reach your potential. They want you to have what they did not have. And that can frustrate the spiritual world when they're trying to bless you, they're trying to level you up, they're trying to help you on your journey, they're trying to elevate you, and you're not willing to elevate yourself. Now, I'm not saying pray to ancestors, because we don't pray to ancestors over here. I don't know about everybody else. Ancestors are not God. We don't pray to them. But we do go to them when we're seeking help or assistance. We also go to them when we want to just, I don't want to say worship them, because we don't worship either. But we do go to our ancestors when we want to acknowledge them. We want to thank them for the path that they paved for us. And so you can't do all of that if you're being in negative energy, or if you're not allowing yourself the opportunity to grow. So I just want you guys to know your ancestors are talking to you. The blockages is you. With channeling, sometimes channeling can be a little overwhelming. For a long time, when I was channeling, I thought I was pretty much talking to myself, or I was making up stuff. And then I learned that the messages I was getting was real, legit messages. They weren't stuff that I was just pulling out my ass. They were real. And so if you're someone who openly channels, and it's just a gift that you have, listen to what is being said and write it down, okay? Don't question it, write it down. Journal the messages that you're hearing. And then wait 3 weeks to 3 months. Go back to your journal and see if those messages came to light. That's the best way to know that you're channeling effectively. Now, sometimes other spirits can come through, and that can muddy things, which is kind of sometimes what I go through. I'm hearing multiple people at the same time. I'm like, chill. One of y'all can speak. One of y'all chill. One of y'all speak. One of y'all chill. So once you can get into control of the voices and you're able to tell spirit, give me a second, let me listen to this one first, I'm gonna come back to you. It's gonna get a lot easier. But practice make perfect. And for those of you who are gifted, cherish your gifts, growing your gift, because there's a lot of people I meet also who are gifted. They're mediums, they're tarot readers themselves, or they're just regular readers, and their issue is they're gifted, but they bury their gift because they were scared of it. Don't be afraid of any part of you, because you're beautiful, you're divinely made, you're divinely protected. No harm will come to you because you're gifted. Okay? And that's pretty much it, y'all. Y'all be safe. Have a good night. Love you lots.